Everybody, video here for you today. Now I'm going to be having some talks with some other ancient history people over the next weeks. First of all, we're going to talk to Mr. Charles Cost down here in Australia. So why don't we get to that right now? All right, everybody, here with Charles Cost. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this channel. Nice to see you and talk to you finally, Charles.
Nice to see you and speak to you in this medium for the first time. Wow.
Yeah. We are holders of one of the greatest first names in history, so it's nice that we are finally chatting, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely. yeah, definitely.
First thing, I'm just curious about your background. What age did you get interested in ancient mysteries and stuff like that?
Well, you know what? I've been interested in ancient mysteries since I was a child, and I used to religiously go to the library and get every book about Stonehenge and stone circles and whatever they had, because there was no internet. So how do you find out information? There was no YouTube. There was no Chuck in Las Vegas cataloging everything in ancient America for YouTube. You know, yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, so we didn't have much information.
So what inspired you to get on YouTube, actually? Was it just something you did it kind of on a whim, and then it just became something you did on a regular basis, or what?
It was actually I was watching the Wise Up channel, and I thought, oh, it's such an easy way to make a video. Seems to be popular, and I thought, oh, and I started doing it as a hobby, just for fun, you know, and it kind of still is a hobby, as I'm sure it is with you. It's just something for fun. But there seems to be it feels like there's a need to do it as well. You know, it's something I need to do, maybe something you need to do. So that's the reason. Yeah.
A lot of people are interested in where we came from. That's just
yes,
a normal thing that people are wondering about these days.
Yeah, it's a good question. Where did we come from? I mean, the conventional history says we as humans came from something very recent, recently evolved.
Yeah. With all the new research, that's kind of blowing that out of the water. Now,
indeed.
My brother's yelling out there in the family room. He's watching golf, so if we hear something in the background. But I have not talked a lot about ancient Australia on my channel. Did you get interested in the ancient people in your country? I'm very curious about that.
Yeah, there seems to be a growing awareness of an ancient civilization in Australia. There's a new author coming up. He's writing a book about this massive. We have our own serpent mound here. It's been demolished by the government in the 1940s in New South Wales, and it was basically it's a large hill and with stones in the shape of a serpent and surrounded by geoglyphs and stones all around, kind of similar to what would have been in ancient America. A lot of what in ancient America is destroyed, just like it's destroyed in ancient Australia. You know, if only a few mounds here and there in America. And here in Australia, you see mounds as well in the countryside, but you don't know what's under them. You don't know if they're prehistoric or not, because farmers have just tampered with them and ruined them. Yeah.
Yep. It seems like we have a lot of different ruins in different parts of the world that all seem very similar, but they are not connected really by researchers. But man, there's a lot of similarities to ruins you see in different parts of the world.
Oh yeah, it's true. And you can clearly see there was one culture. Like when I was at the Serpent Mound in America, and I saw nearby there are barrows like you see in England. Like, wow, like round barrows. Wow, this is the same people.
I'm a little jealous that you've gone to Serpent Mound and I live here and I have not yet.
No, fair enough.
But writing books, what advice would you give to somebody who has a lot of information in their mind and maybe wants to write a book someday?
Start writing. Start putting it into a Word file, and start adding information, and just start doing that. Add information to the file whenever you have a spare moment, or write it into a notebook and then transfer it. It's a lot of work to do it, to keep adding information, but eventually, when you get a lot of words and you've read a lot of other books, you can turn it into a book, and you just need to proofread it about 100 times over a few months, and boom, it's a book. And but it takes a bit of time to get it all right, and you won't see this. Yeah.
Is it possible to do it in your spare time, or is that something you really need to commit a lot of time to?
It's hard to. It's actually hard to do it in your spare time. So I had a few years off, so I wrote a couple of books. The reason you need to commit a lot of time to it is you want to read what the previous authors have said, and do a bit of what's called a historiography in the first chapter, which is covering what the previous authors have talked about. So before I wrote my pyramids book, I read, maybe 10, 20 pyramid books, and that takes a tremendous amount of time to do that,
Sure. Now, I don't know if you get this a lot, but do you have people that want to start making their own videos that ask you for a little bit of advice? Do you ever get those kind of comments or messages? And what advice would you give to those people if they were just starting off?
Sure, a few times, yeah, once or twice it's happened, and I would just advise them just start simple, talk about something you're passionate about. Then the video becomes absolutely effortless.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, it's very easy to make a video if you're passionate about it, about the topic. Make topics about things you really know about, and be driven to share what you know with the whole world, and then that video will be awesome. And people seem to actually pick it up very quickly, and they quickly become very professionals at YouTube. YouTube's becoming easier and easier, especially with the phones. Yeah, I'm just recording this on the phone, and boom, it's top quality. I hope, and it's fine.
Now, do you have time to watch other ancient history videos, or do you spend most of your YouTube time just making videos on your own,
I actually don't watch other ancient history videos hardly at all. But if I do, I'll leave a comment, like on your channel, and to show I've appreciated it, and I certainly appreciate the work you do in cataloging all the mounds of America, so people can go out to have a look. That's incredible work.
Just each video you make, you just learn that much more, and it becomes just a bigger part of the big picture. And you can put pieces together the more you do. And it's just being thorough is one of the things I've learned as a researcher. Don't just go out there looking for an answer right away. Be as thorough as you can, and maybe the answer will come to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it's so much fun to solve these mysteries. You've solved quite a lot of mysteries as well. You've put your own solutions up, the face of the Sphinx, and all these other things on your channel. And eventually it comes to you. You're right. Eventually the subconscious comes up with a solution.
What's the favorite thing you've ever researched? What's your favorite subject?
Probably Stonehenge.
Stonehenge?
It's not everyone's favorite, but it's my favorite. When I first saw,
I'm going to have one coming up on Stonehenge in probably the next few years. So I've been looking into something, got a lot to say. Some other ruins that don't seem to be attached to that very early Neolithic period. Like they say they're Bronze Age forts, but man, they're shaped the same as Newgrange and some of those henges around Stonehenge, and just something I'm going to be talking about in the near future. I'll have to review some of your older Stonehenge videos.
I can't wait. Awesome. Well, there's a lot to discover about Stonehenge, and I've discovered that many of what the archaeologists say is quite wrong. For example, they claim the Sarsen stones were in a circle, but actually there's no evidence at all. There's not even any holes there to show they were ever in a circle. They seem to be in a horseshoe, just like the inner trilithon horseshoe.
Yep.
So it's quite interesting, quite fascinating, yeah.
And that horseshoe symbolism could be related to something seen in the heavens. That might be something I get into a little bit. So, what is your determination after all these years? How old do you think some of the monuments in Egypt are? the Sphinx, Great Pyramid, stuff like that.
Sphinx was very old when Khufu was around. He was patching it up.
Yep,
As you
for
know, he
sure.
was patching it up. He was trying to restore it. I did come up with a theory that the Sphinx face might be his daughter, because his daughter seems to have attracted a lot of notoriety, a bit of a Marie Antoinette figure, but who knows? Maybe it's male. I think you have a theory it's a male.
Moses the Fourth, and he was said to be kind of a pretty boy pharaoh too, so that might explain some of the female qualities some people see in
Yeah,
the face. But for sure, they
yeah.
say the face was recarved in the 18th dynasty based on the beard they found and a few other things, and he's the one who uncovered it. And if you're going to put a beard on it, you're going to do the face at the same time as the beard. There's a monument just off the Sphinx that has his face framed, and it's dedicated to Tutmosis IV, and that was built by Amenhotep III, his son. It's very rare a pharaoh's son builds a monument to a dad after they're deceased, memorializing his face, I think. Just my thoughts, but what do I know?
Well, what does anyone know? We don't
Right,
have a time machine. Like, none of us can prove it. The
right.
archaeologists can't prove it either. They're guessing just the same as us.
They have a real tough time determining what went on 3, 4, 5,000 years ago. So this deeper history, 10, 12,000 years ago that we're getting into now, just little bits and pieces you got to put together all the evidence. It's really a fascinating field when human history gets sent back like twice as far as we think it did originally.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I've actually recently been interested in some Indian researchers are using Hinduism to decipher the mythology at Göbekli Tepe,
Oh yeah,
and also the Etruscan mythology. They're looking at the Etruscan tombs. They're looking at Göbekli Tepe. I've seen on some blogs, and they're saying, "Oh, this is just Hindu mythology," and they can read what the symbolism means.
sure.
Yeah,
Very
it's incredible.
interesting. There's so many periods of history. There's this kind of ancient, the very ancient, the super ancient. I mean, there's so many periods of history you can look into if you get into making ancient history videos, that's for sure. There's just endless field of subjects you can talk about.
Yeah, it goes all the way back. Because how far back do humans go anyway? Surely we go back to, you know what? We go so far back that they haven't found a missing link between us and pigs and other animals yet. The missing link is they can't even find the bones. That's how far humans go back. So
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
a lot of mysteries. Well, Charles, I just want to thank you for talking to me for 20 minutes or so. I'm sure the viewers will enjoy this talk between the two Charleses. And if you're ever in Las Vegas, we're going to play golf, right?
Oh, absolutely. I love golf. I love your golf hat as well. And
Sure.
yes,
Yes, those
and
nice mild 100-degree days out here with a few cocktails and whatever. I'm not sure if you're into that, but we always have fun out here on the golf course, and great,
it'd be amazing to see a golf
great
course even
scenery.
on another continent. Yeah.
Sure, sure. All right, man. Hey, I appreciate the talk.
Thanks. I appreciate it very much.
All right,
It's been awesome. Thank
we
you.
we will do
See you,
it
mate.
again. We will do it again.
Okay.
All right, man.
All righty. See you. Bye bye.